June the 1st last year, there was a moment in London when if you were a young person with a mental health problem, there was not a single hospital bed available for you in London, in the capital of one of the world's great cities. That's scandalous, isn't it?
Well, we do have a problem with what we call the Tier 4 beds, and in fact we have increased the number of mental health beds in the last year as a response to those issues. But what I would say is, in all of this, the thing that is most unacceptable is if you are a young person and you need to be an NHS inpatient in a mental health organisation, to have to go to the other side of the country, because what really matters in terms of your recovery is that you can be visited by your parents and your friends.
But that is happening again and again because of the lack of nurses and the lack of beds.
Well,
on your watch.
Andrew, I think you are mischaracterising what is happening, because there is more money, there are more people working in mental health. We are increasing the number of beds, particularly for young people. But Rome wasn't built in a day, and if we are going to achieve Theresa May's ambition of full parity of esteem between mental and physical health, then we are going to need to train up many, many more people to deliver that. That's what we're doing, and we're absolutely determined to end this injustice that we have at the moment in mental health. But don't forget, as we do this...
You've had 7 years to end this injustice. Yeah. You're entering your 6th year as Health Secretary, which makes you the 3rd longest in the post since Nye Bevan. And I can't remember who else. But nonetheless, you're
Norman Fowler.
Norman Fowler, one of the longest-serving health secretaries. Do you not recognise that, given the cuts in nurses, given the cuts in beds over time, part of the mental health crisis has happened on your watch and is the result of the cuts that were made at the beginning of your time?
But, Andrew, you are only painting a limited picture. What has actually happened on my watch is the biggest expansion of mental health provision in Europe. Other countries are looking at what we're doing. As I mentioned at the beginning of...
So it's not the beds and the nurses. Where is the expansion taking place?
Well, for example, on treatment for anxiety and depression, where what we're doing now is considered world-leading. It's even being copied by the Swedes, who are looking to import what we're doing on psychological therapies into Stockholm. Overall, we are treating, and I say this for the 2nd time because I don't think it registered, 1,400 more people every single day. There is a big expansion. We have 3,000 more people working in talking therapies.
It's just that the voices outside are saying so many different things. So James Munby, who's president of the Family Court, I'm sure you will remember this case. There was a 17-year-old girl who was suicidal and was about to be released, and he condemned the disgraceful, he said, and utterly shaming lack of proper provision in this country. And he said, we, the system, society, the state, will have blood on our hands. And then he took that judgment and he made it sure he went to you. Then things changed for that girl, nonetheless. But it took a High Court judge to say that, say it publicly, and come to the Secretary of State to get some changes, didn't it?
And he was right to say that, but that is why we are changing. I mean, let me just give you an example. In the last year, we are spending over £500 million more on mental health in the NHS. This is at a time when as you know, when NHS resources are very constrained. But the reality is that because we are proud to offer a service that is free at the point of use in the NHS, and rightly so, there is huge untapped demand for mental health provision. We know now that you can, in many cases, make a mental illness completely better. And because people understand that, there's a lot of people who want NHS care. But it's not going to be solved overnight. And we have to be honest with the British people. Our plan is 2020-21, we will deliver the Paul Farmer plan and be treating 1 million more people every year. We're on track to do that. But it's not going to happen overnight, and there's no silver bullet. I'm afraid it does take time.